So is this really the start of a democratic fight back? Well, let's get more on this from political consultant Julius van der Laar. He's worked on President Obama's presidential campaigns. DW correspondent Carsten van Names joins us from Washington as well. Welcome both. Carsten, let's start with you. Talk us through some of the reactions to this result in the United States.
Well, as we've seen in the report, the first reaction from Donald Trump on Tuesday evening was quite subdued. He even congratulated Doug Jones in some new tweets today. He was already trying to argue that he knew that Roy Moore was the wrong candidate all along, and he only supported him because he wanted to save this Republican seat. Meanwhile, the Democrats, of course, have taken this as a signal that their attack on the Trump presidency should now start in earnest. Hillary Clinton, the former presidential candidate, tweeted that if Democrats can win in Alabama, they can compete everywhere. And presidential hopeful Cory Booker said rather poetically, a renewal of hope and the first ray of light of a rising sun. So basically hoping that the Democrats can wrest power back from the Republicans soon.
OK, let's pick up that point with Julius van der Laar. Is this a resurgent Democratic Party, or is it just a bad Republican candidate?
Well, I think it's both. Republicans obviously were mobilized. Remember, Hillary Clinton had lost Alabama by 28 points just a year ago to Donald Trump. So Democrats taking back the seat, this is a huge opportunity, but also looking forward. Keep in mind, in 2018, November 2018, there will be the midterm elections, and Democrats actually have the chance to take back the Senate, where Republicans now only have a majority of 2 votes. So Democrats really need to focus in on November 2018, take back those 25 seats where Democrats are up for re-election, win back some of those seats from the 8 GOP senators who are up for re-election, and then, of course, try to stop through a legislative process some of the proposals that we've seen from Donald Trump.
And just while I have you here, let's talk about the wider aspect of this, how this Senate result affects the balance of power in Washington.
I mean, first of all, it's a huge blow to Donald Trump. Donald Trump and the GOP, the Republican Party, went all in. They supported the candidate financially. Donald Trump reached out to his base and mobilized his supporters. And I think it is a clear sign that Donald Trump is not getting away, and as well as the Republican candidate Roy Moore, they're not getting away with the things that we've seen over the last couple of weeks unfold. So I do think that this sends a shockwave to Washington. At the same time, Democrats can't let off. They have to keep mobilizing, and just because they took this race doesn't mean that it's going to be easy in November.
Carsten van Namen in Washington, so what's your take on this? Did the Republicans throw away a safe seat by choosing this flawed candidate?
Well, they certainly did, because Roy Moore and his views are extreme, even by Alabama standards. And also we still have the fact that there is an ongoing civil war within the Republican Party between the conservative establishment and the nationalist populist wing that brought Donald Trump into the White House. And this fight continues, and it will further weaken the Republican Party. Once again, the Democrats are, of course, upbeat now, but they also have problems inside of their party between a more populist left-wing wing and a more moderate centrist group within the party, and they haven't sorted that out. So they have to find a message that goes beyond against Trump.
Final point to you, Julius van der Laar. I wonder if this is more indicative of a Republican Party in a terminal spiral. They control both houses. They have a president that they don't like and didn't want, and they have candidates that they don't like and don't want, and they're fighting each other. The Democrats just have to sort of sit back and let them get on with it.
Well, that's exactly what the Democrats can't do. They have to win on policy, and they have to make arguments just like they did in the fight over health care. This is how we see how Democrats win elections and how they win policy fights, when they come with arguments and have a clear message on what's right and wrong. When we look forward to the 2018 midterm elections and then, of course, to the 2020 presidential elections, Democrats, of course, have to figure out personnel and have to see who they're going to put at the top of the tickets. I don't think Democrats are anywhere close to having figured that out. turnout. At the same time, the base is mobilized. It started in January of 2017 when we saw record numbers turn out in protest to Donald Trump. And it's great to see, at least from a Democratic perspective, it is great to see that so many people don't just take to the streets or take to Twitter or to Facebook to voice their opposition, but they actually show up to vote. So last point that I want to make is that in this election, African-American turnout in a off-year election was higher than what President Obama, the first African-American president, saw in the 2012 presidential election. So this is a huge point for Democrats.
All right. Political consultant Julius van der Laar, thank you. DW correspondent Carsten van Namen in Washington, thank you.